Hey guys, how you doing? Okay, a drink of water. Alrighty, let's do this thing. We'll try one, and then we'll get busy. Been studying the London, so let's see how I do. Okay, we will start into the analysis on this real quick. So d4, d5. Should be back here, that's the idea. Now this is kind of what I was going to play. That's me. So I just wanted to show you guys that. Okay, we're going to go over a game between Tatev and Elisa Malakina. Tatev played the French in 2016, what the Women's U.S. Open Championship, or the Women's Championship, and it was a 90, I believe it was a 91 move game. Let me see if I'm wrong. 95, sorry. So it's gonna be a little bit, but we're gonna go over it because it's really informative. apologize about that. I swallowed wrong for some reason. Alright. Okay, let's do this thing. D4, A6, D4, D5. This is the French defense. You guys know that start. Knight C3. Bishop B4 for black, which is the win here. Knight E2. Pawn takes. Takes. And then you really can't hold this, because if you tried to hold here, I don't think it's holdable. I think they could just play there and I really don't know if you have enough compensation for you have an attack here. Yeah, and you just infiltrate in, so so then you move there, and E5. Sorry. She'd play pawn takes E5. I'm sorry, I gotta move the mouse a little bit. Now everything's cemented. You can keep the pawn because you're safe. And it's going to come up a pawn advantage here. Takes. And rook to f7. If you notice, Malakine is trying to open with a pawn, doubling up and trying to get the pieces like this. Because the pieces are starting to point towards black. In theory, black's up one pawn, but white has an attack, so because you really don't want to trade here. It'd be like, that'd be silly. Because then you would take here, and if that's taken, then you develop, and now you're attacking here. So if there's an attack there, you take. Now you're up a piece. Do you see how that that falls apart for? You have to retreat back. Pawn takes, and then in comes the pieces are starting to flow. You can't go here or here, because that's what Tate would want to do, is go to one of these two places to mate. But the bishop covers, the knight covers that, and the bishop covers that square, so that's why only up is usable. And now the knight comes in attacking the queen. Queen g5. And the rooks are coming for doubled up. Now the pawn push is coming. Oh, you gotta love that. Let's see, what do we want to do? What happens if you take? Oh, the queen, the rook takes, gotcha. Well, if you take right here at this moment, you take, and there's really no way to stop the queen in there, so you'd be up. You'd be up a piece in that line. This wins on the spot here. Not on the spot, but it wins. Because there's really only one way to stop it, queen there, and at that point, now you're threatening mate. And if queen takes there, you then can potentially take the knight, right? So you'd be up a whole piece in that line. It's kind of hard though. You really don't want to ever give up your suite. This is an interesting move for sure. That forces an exchange, so that's how it works. Okay. Okay, I see that now, because hey, how you doing, Fox? So Malakina is white and Tatev's black, and Tatev uses the Winnier to defeat Alisa Malakina. So they're there and check to trying to get this, because Tatev's a piece up, but Malakina, actually not a piece up, sorry. It's equal material. Tatev though has a 1 outside passer, but it could be stopped by the king, and there's 3 versus 2 on the queen side. So you have to be really that's cool. That's a sweet. This is actually a sweet move. Because if that's taken, then you take there. So you gotta love that. Using a pin. Well, I guess if you take there, my bad, because he could take there, and at that point, I guess you're a pawn up, but I think it's still a draw at that point. Yeah. So that the only way to kind of hold is to take. You gotta keep pieces on the board. Another pawn bites the dust. I don't know, I kind of like that move. I know it's kind of crazy, but I think that's kind of what the plan was, is to block there. So I think that's kind of why pushing doesn't work. Yeah. Theory of 2 weaknesses. There. And she's gotta keep. She can keep a hold of this pawn, and there's 2 weaknesses this is locked down to that, and that's locked down to that. And so now, if you gotta be careful if that gets taken, there's no way to stop the, because you're just too far behind. This is a Simon Williams game. Did the French defense. Excuse me. We have a game. Let's see. So Leela's game. Okay, let's see here. Excuse me. Okay, C4. Well, the English is very similar to kind of the French. If you want to think about the London, because the only difference is this pawn and the bishop will eventually come out, and you go there. The knight, excuse me, the knight attacks the bishop. Bishop f4, okay. Knight g7. How many moves was this game? Wow. Pretty impressive. It worked out to mate. Okay. Basically, it's who can smash the other one at this point. G5, bishop king b8, knight takes. So white now, Leela has the bishop pair. So the idea of Leela would be to open up the center, and if you notice, the bishops are really doing real good on this file on the diagonals. So, and a queen potentially can come in. So, pretty sweet. I don't know. I'd kind of be tempted to play here. I'd kind of be tempted to play either rook to b1, or potentially queen queen b3, queen b1 or queen b3. Huh. Well, then I'd probably play queen b3 at that point then. I like queen b3. Because if bishop takes, I just take with the rook. Let's see here. I like that idea. I like this idea, but okay, that makes sense now. He could just retreat back. Okay. Yeah, if takes there. Well, then yeah, you have a potential battery on here. That would be interesting for sure. Well, then you can come back and snap that off. Interesting. Yeah. Well, that's cool then. Hey, we found a good move. I'm just looking at, pins. It's just so powerful because the reason I was thinking Queen B3 was the mate potential. These two are in contact with each other, and it's just so strong. There is one thing I was thinking: if I played there, like what you're saying, takes here, he could retreat back. But I still think doubling up there would be so more likely he'd have to play there. Hmm. Well, maybe you could. Maybe you could actually. No, I don't think we want to play there, huh? You could just push at that moment. If he plays there, you just take. You attack the queen first. It takes. You'd want to take there. If then, oh, he has to move. Then you get mate. Yeah, yeah. Wow, that was a strong move. So, but this is strong as well. Because now you have queen to a. I guess you still have queen b3 at that point, but no taking here. No takes there. I'm only concerned about potentially a6 though. 1 second. Excuse me. Let's need to drink water. Sorry. Ugh. Boy, hate when I get tickle. Okay, yeah, a6 is the only pickle. Because now if that's taken, the rook can come up and take here. So, let's see, potentially, what would be a good move after this? So it did the best move, okay. Nice move there. Because if takes here, you actually take there, and when the knight moves, we'll say here, you at that point can jam a piece right up the throat. And if he plays there to block it, mate arises. Huh. Well, I guess I'm wrong. I'm sorry about that, because he can actually block there. Yeah, that was my problem there. Huh. I still think that's strong though. How do you meet? Oh, snap. The bishop, the queen hangs. Snap. Okay. Yeah. I saw that. That wasn't fun. Yeah, because taking here isn't the wisest of ideas, because you could just come back and grab there. Or maybe even better, or maybe better, even better than that. That's even better. I was looking at what would happen if he took here. That's not good. That's a good move. That's a good move. That's a good move, but there's better. And that's the best. And that leads to mate in 2. So, like if takes, let's see what the ratio of this is. Oh, still mate in 3. Pretty darn tootin' impressive there. And then, but if you take here, yeah, you don't get much. So okay. And so if he takes here, which is what he does, you can. Oh, interesting. So the queen has to take because of the pin here. Okay. Excuse me. Yeah, the queen has to take. Oh, nice. You get stuck into a windmill kind of sitch, and mate to boot to follow on that. And so if bishop takes, then you still have this pawn under fire and that pawn, so you'd have to play something like that. But then you double up here, and there's no way to do without losing, so I was just gonna play there. Excuse me. Okay. The pawn's still gonna fall. Oh, nice. So it takes that way. I guess that would be a better takes because you have a outside, you have a passed pawn there. Leela has enough material to win because let's see, 3 versus 4. That's enough, especially when you have this beautiful protected pass pawn. That's let's see here. So here, then let's see. He should have checked this. Let's see, what does that do? That actually gives probably like a 2 pawn advantage there. How did Leela miss that though? This actually is totally winning though. I guess you lose that pawn, don't you? Yeah, exactly. There's no way that White's going to be able to. White's not going to win here. My teacher taught me this is a pretty simple of a win here. You just get in here and you get your pawns working like that. Well, what Jeremy Silman says is to actually bring your king to. This would work too. He has to stay in contact with this, so if he plays there, I don't know. I like this better. Let's see what did Stockfish. So it liked the push of the pawn. What's wrong with my idea here though? Oh, the rook's under fire. Okay. So I think both ideas. I like mine. I gotta say, because I don't like having all these different check ideas that happened. Yeah. One second. I gotta stop coughing. I have to get a drink of water. Okay. Okay. Don't cough. Okay, we gotta stay focused. So there, here. Let's see. There. So check. Wow, that was cool. That and it didn't even need to queen the pawn. That was really strong. So let's see here. We'll go over. We'll do some puzzles. I'll be right back. I will be right back. I'll put puzzles on for you guys. So just 1 second. Yeah, I agree with you on that. They do make bad decisions. That's funny. Okay. Let's see what we got here. We're gonna go over a Simon. I think did we do the Simon one? Did we do the Simon Williams game already? Nope. Okay. E4, E6. This is the two knights variation of the French. That is true. We do play more practical, I gotta say. We play. We also. They have one thing that we don't, though. They're not afraid to admit if they made a mistake, like if you move a piece incorrectly. A player. If a player does, they're kind of they want to justify it. Where the computer just says, you know what? It's a point. I may be a point two down, moving it back, but I'm not a whole pawn down. And they don't have the fear of making a mistake. And if they moved it correctly, they don't have the fear of admitting that they moved incorrectly one move. So that's one thing that why I'm saying is you should learn from your mistakes. That's the reason computers do. And they're 32 over 3200 in rating, ELO rating. So I think they have something that we should actually kind of try out, learning from your mistakes. So bishop e7, knight g3. This is kind of an idea in the French, always c5. And now you're aiming here, and you're preparing here, and you're aiming there. You're also getting ready for knight to c6. And then there's really no way to attack this except for a bishop to d3. Then knight takes, which allows for a tempo on the bishop. Castles, knight c6. So now there's two attackers happening on the pawn. So rook e1 is forced. Knight takes. Now Simon has the two bishop advantage, and he has the ability for castling and and f6. So castles, pawn, bishop f4. The queen moves now because it moves with tempo on the pawn on b2, and as well it'll now have the potential for f6, which then frees up the light square bishop and the dark square bishop, which is what Simon wants. So rook b1. Oh, he plays a5. Well, a5 I guess does make sense, because if you go a4 you just play there and I don't know if I like that. So probably takes with the pawns best instead of taking with the bishop. That's probably best. But then that could be no. Then you just take there. Okay. Okay. And if knight takes, the rook takes with again. And if bishop there, then you play rook, and now you're attacking the bishop and potentially this pawn. So when this opens up here, yeah. Queen b4, queen e2. And now we could trade for a rook 2 pieces, which is what we might want to do. There we go. Now these are our bishops. We'll have a bishop here, and then we can push. Oh, such a sweet position. You gotta love it. And then what you could do is also bishop to a6. Oh, sweet. Because look what you have, the pin on the queen. Yes. Now he's up a whole pawn, so he's only down, rather than being up 1 pawn, let's see, there's 5. He's up 2 pawns instead of being up 1, just up 1. So d4, and potentially another pawn's gonna bite the dust with a6, maybe bishop a6, or potentially maybe bishop a4 or a3. It depends. Wow, this rook's trapped. I guess the rook would have to that was a mistake. This is the only way to kind of get any I guess it is over at that point. It's like 11 pawn, in my opinion, advantage on this one. Probably somewhere around there. Oh, 2. Now the king's safe, so it could start going on a rampage a little bit. Oh yeah, don't give in yet. So this would be an interesting idea. Bad move on his part. That'd be a really bad move. Potentially maybe that. Oh, okay, so what does it actually like? Let's see, what does the computer like? So it does like my idea. He even kind of made a little bit of a hiccup there, but found it. So this is a game between Yazir Sirwan versus Jan Timon. And I gotta turn the board. He uses the French in this line. Yazir does. Bishop b4. And then e5. This is the Winier. Kind of an interesting Winier line, because usually at this point you would just trade off, kind of. But I don't know. I might actually have played the more standard line, which is here. You kind of don't mind this type of structure, so. But you have all your pieces developed, and if he plays there, you play here. If he plays there, you just retreat your knight out, and then you prepare castling, because you wanted f6 anyways, so it's an effective idea. Pretty interesting lines for sure. Not sure. What is he doing here? More positional, I guess, huh? Okay, squeeze. Yeah. So if he was to play knight h4, he'd play there, so that wouldn't work. You have to kind of develop. This is kind of an awkward line for sure. Why doesn't he just take there though? Oh, I see. Okay, I see. That would have been a blunder on my part. Excuse me. So queen e4, queen takes e4, knight takes e4, a5. Yeah, space gaining for sure. g3, kind of make a spot for your king to go to. Yeah. Nice, because when he takes, take back with the pawn. Sweet. b3, a4. Because you don't want that to happen, because then you get surprised with that. no way to stop losing this rook. So that was a really good move. Yeah. Okay, now let's go over. Oops, I have to set up a study real quick. And add a chapter. Chapter 3. Alright, let's start into it. Play d4, d5, bishop f4. Well, they asked a question. You may ask, why isn't that best? This is what happens. He says right here. There's a line that comes to pass. Let's see here. Oh, and then bishop f5, and this actually wins. If you take here, you lose. So this is forced right here. You gotta be careful if you walk into that line. That's kind of why you do bishop f4 to begin with. And he plays knight f6, e3. You have to, before you play this here, you want that to be pushed. Because remember what happened? We got totally taken to the cleaners when we tried to do this this move first. So we don't want that to happen. Okay. c5, c3, make the pyramid. Knight c6, knight d2, e6, gf6, bishop d3, g3, and then what happens is black castles, and then you play bishop d3, which now you're fully developed. And this right here, he'll play rook e8, kind of make space so that he's kind of afraid of a potential Greek gift idea, but he shouldn't be, because this knight right here is not a problem. He also wants to prepare for e5, the opening up of the center, because he's castled and white isn't. So knight e5 was played. Oops. Knight e5. There is another line they talked about here. Castles. Bishop takes, e5, d takes e5, knight takes e5, knight takes e5, rook takes e5. It's equal. It's what they actually play in the Slav defense. This is the Slav setup for black. It'd be more of an equal move for black, and black would be able to play with a 0, which is not what we want. We want to keep our half-point advantage. We don't want to surrender our half-point advantage. That's why e5 was played to stop the e5 push from happening. And if knight takes, that's a fork. If bishop takes, we take, and we're attacking his knight. and then we have a potential f4 locking down. Then we can castle. Bishop takes, d takes, because we're attacking the knight, and we're preparing potentially for a Greek sacrifice as well. Knight d7, and at this point I'm wondering, does the Greek gift actually work here? Hold on, let me see. I think we just lose a yeah, so it doesn't work. So it's kind of forced for a knight f3 to be played, because otherwise we can't set up for the Greek gift. We gotta have a knight so that we can do that. And then we also have a potential bishop h4. This knight guards this pawn, bishop h4, so double. There's also, I've had this played. You could play f4, which is more of a positional move. It kind of, you know, binds the position together, keeps it in unison, so that later on you can potentially go queen to h5 with a mate threat. So to boot after h5, if he plays here, then you could play there, you know, and then you play bishop. You know, it's playable. This is more what white is doing now is preparing for a potential Greek gift, because this knight's ready. There's no knight here. This bishop's perfect. This queen's perfect. If we can get the queen off this diagonal here, we're good to go, because we could always play bishop f4, and then the knight comes smashing in, baby. Yeah, gotta love it. Okay, let's see here. He also talks about, let's see, on move. Actually, let's go back here. If we played f4, he does say that there is a kind of a problem. c4 with an exclam, and then b6, and you're kind of in a pickle right now, because you have to, and then what you do is he gets a pawn h1, which then you give up you've lost a whole pawn. There's also at this point takes here with rook to c1. It's more critical of a line. Then you have f5, kind of to potentially lock down any attack. And then e takes f, and knight takes f, and so black's kind of they have the everything in hand, as you would say. So that was just kind of an idea on the c f4 what potentially could arise. So a6 was played because black wants to try to expand on the queen side. Let me see if I did that right. Let's see. Yep. A6 is right. There's also a potential queen. They said queen c7, castles, h6, kind of to stop the knight from jumping in. And what we can do at this point is play e4 with an exclam, because if he plays here we just take back and then we can implant a rook. So if he plays here we take, and then we implant a rook after takes the knight, pawn takes. Yeah, that's kind of the idea that would possibly be playable. And so that's with that. That's the C line. Also, there's, let me see, did we have, so after that, castles, instead of E, okay, instead of H, sorry, instead of H6 after castles, this was an idea that he was thinking if knight takes here, D takes, takes, and then you have the crushing queen to H5. It threatens mate, not mate, but when it wins a pawn, and it also attacks pinned at the same time. So that's pretty devastating in my opinion of an attack. That's kind of why A4 or A6 was played, kind of to say, no, we're not doing that. So we're not going to be doing that. Castles, and then B5 for an expansion on the queen side. That's black's idea. One second, I need a drink, and then we'll get right back into this again. Okay, better. Okie dokie. B5. A4, kind of to see if we can't break up the pawn structure. Yeah, that's kind of what. There's also another idea to play is E5. Alright, sorry, E4. And if bishop here, or bishop E7 takes, and rook to E1 with the bishops now have really good the bishops right now have a really good attack coming, because we'll be able to get our light square bishop out, and this is guarded twice, so potentially because he's probably going to push, but I don't know if that's such a wise idea, because he's going to want to expand out, so he's probably not going to go C4 now that we think about it. He might try the expansion there, but I don't know. It doesn't say anything about that. It says that the majority with E5 though, after all this gets traded off, and you have this, you have a 4 versus 3, which is enough for a kingside storm of an attack. You'd have to play it more positionally, but hey, we're not too upset about that, are we? Okay, A6. I mean, A6. That's funny. Let's put down notations. It's an interesting move. That's what was said. I get that. Interesting move. Did I forget to mark any of the other ones? Nope. Nothing's. No marks yet. Nope. No marks. So we're good. Okay. So rook b8. Kinda so that if you take, you could take back and have a congruent or a solid structure for his pawn skeleton. Says black's unlikely really to survive if he plays c5. This is after a takes, and if knight a7, this is what it says, bishop c2, and if knight takes, I think it's knight takes b5, that's what they're saying, d7, d4, if knight takes, which doesn't, it goes queen b, trying to develop. Black's in such a bind right now that it's kind of not fun, let's just say. This is so that the pawn won't fall, because he wants to actually take and then take here, so, and potentially win a pawn, and it'd be let's see, knight takes, I'll show you, knight takes, and then you win. If the knight was back here and it was black to move, he would take here, and after, we'll say that takes, that would win there. So that's kind of why a rook a2 is played. Not kind of why, that's why rook a2 is played. And now we're making sure that our knight can protect the king side, because we have a bishop here, we have a queen here, we have h4, h5, h6 coming down the pike. Okay, so f4 is played. Now we even bring another fighter in. A rook can slide over. Boy, black is not long for this world. Yeah, this is basically toast for black. His position is such in shambles. There's really nothing he can do. So it tells you c4 would have been a blunder, because you could just take there. So that's kind of why, I'll delete that. That's kind of why he played rook b8, was so that now is c4 is a plausible idea. So a takes. It's kind of forced. A takes, and then bishop e2, because we want to connect our rooks, because we want to be able to dominate this open file, because it's the only open file. If we can control it, it's very valuable, very valuable. So b5, b4. Black's trying their heart out to open another file, and then black wants white to take, which would be a silly move. So we're not going to do that. We're going to go c4 right away and say, you take us. If you take, we are totally crunching. So instead of b4, black has one time tried queen b6, rook f to d1, kind of to stop this, and if he plays there, to retreat out. I have a question after, let me see here, sorry, let me see. I have a question after queen e4, if c was played in bishop. Where did I have a question after? Oh, you're saying what would happen if, oh, e4. Okay, I see what you're saying. Instead of e4, what would happen if c, if what am I missing here? I'm trying to figure this out. Oh, I gotcha. If he played c4, okay, I see what you're saying. Would there be able to be a battery after, if we retreat back there? Yeah, you could do a battery. You could actually have a queen and queen and bishop battery. But I think that'd be stopped with g6, pawn g6 though. After e, oh c, okay, c, okay, c4. Yeah, so for this, oh yeah, bishop b1. Yeah, and then let me see. Potentially, maybe bishop there, and if you played here, then I think it's okay. Oh, c2. Yeah, c2 it wouldn't work. Yeah, d3 would be under control. Yeah, that does. This is an interesting move. There's a benefit though if that was to play in c2 would be bishop c2 would be played, is so that potentially B3 could this is also, yeah, I see what you're saying. It's not too well. I think there's. You want to see what the engine says? Okay, hey, I'm for that. Let's take a look. I believe that's probably the. And it's mainly equal. Okay, yeah. The engine didn't actually, for some reason, didn't like that. It liked this here. I think because it has more playable. It the queen is actually optimally placed because if you think about it, the queen has all these squares to go to once the knight moves. So, and then it has all these squares to go to. True. Yeah, the rooks are disconnected. That more likely is what the idea would probably be. Is that's probably what the computer's thinking. I would say that you're right about that for sure. Let's see. We did that. Okay. A takes B. Okay. E before. All right. Where did I leave off? Okay. Sorry. Bishop B. B. Rook F. F. Okay. Rook F D. Gotta make sure I have this right. A6. A6. Bishop A6. Where did I? Oh, what am I thinking? A6 here. That's silly of me. I was looking at it from black side. And then this gets a double esclam. That's like, wow. So he takes. Because you're now locking this bishop forever out of play. And if, oops, I gotta turn off the engine. Sorry, guys. Forgot about that. Takes. And now the Greek gift comes into play, and it's like, uh-oh, spaghetti-o. Queen G4, F5, E takes F, Knight takes F, and then Queen takes B4, King takes G5, and then you win a piece. So you're winning a piece. Yeah, I did. And then rook takes, which is incredible. And then bishop F4, G6, and then queen takes, and your whole exchange up. White is winning, totally winning here. That's impressive. Let's watch that. Let's see what the computer thinks about. I thought for a second, and I was like, no, we don't like that. See, it likes that because it pulls the king out. and he's up 2 pawns. That's a stellar. I'm gonna leave that line in there. I'm not pulling that line out. I'm gonna leave that for you guys to look at. That's a stellar line. But at the point, I have to put a double exclam for B4 though, because that is a, in my opinion, a double exclam move. That earns a double exclam. Okay, B4, C4, and rook to B6, which gets an exclam mark. That's what it says here. Because it defends against the take here. It if this was to take the rook, see if you played takes here, and then this took back, this rook now has the ability to come over to guard this whole rank. There we go. That's kind of why it liked that idea. That's why it gave That's why it gave an exclam to that move. Had a multitude of different ideas. So rook f d8, d1, sorry, and g6, which is very dubious. It's a dubious move because it really doesn't do anything. He says that b6, b3 would have actually been a better idea here. This would have gotten an exclam. This is an exclam from my notes. Would have created some counterplay on for the knight to come into b4. This would give an outpost for the knight. But that's why this would have been better than g6. It only does one thing, but weakens white's oops, I'm gonna drink water. It weakens black's kingside, so it's not a bad move, it's a null move. A zero move. Okay, so let's see what the next line is going to be. Okay, b3 was played, pawn b3, which now all of black's pieces are cramped. So, and if pawn was to take here, you don't want to take with the pawn. You want to take with the bishop to keep it all clogged up. You want to keep this position like an anchor. You want to keep it like a wall that nothing can get out, and all we're doing is slowly marching them off the edge, like in the 300 when they marched those guys off the edge. That's kind of what that is. They form a wall. Let me see. Okay, so that did not happen, but I just wanted to show you if it did happen, what would have. Oops, I don't want that. Get out of there. So h4 is now. Oh, let's see. What did I? Okay, bishop. Sorry, bishop, b7, and then h4. Look how many pieces are on the king side for us. 3. And black has the majority of his forces on the queen side, so it's time for us to push our little friend Harry. But he's not little. He's big. So push our soldier Harry down the board to go for an attack. And this is what it says. And so it begins. That was what was written down. I was like, yeah, you gotta love it when it says that. And so it begins. Queen e7, which is an interesting move. It's not what it would like. Black's in serious trouble right now, and so what black has to do is somehow, potentially, maybe this queen's going to be really a blessing on the 7th rank. and to also guard. So black's in such a predicament right now. I don't know what's going to happen to black. Well, we know what's going to happen. White's going to win, so there we go. And then boom, h5. It's like saying, hello, I'm here. Hello, I'm home. And then the queen goes to g7 of all places. g7. Wow. Pawn moves in. Now all we gotta do is somehow get a knight here or something. We need to somehow get some pieces. Now the queen's now totally locked. This is not looking too good for black. He's in such a bind right now. So rook a8 is he's trying to trade off if he can. Bishop e2. And white doesn't really much care if you trade off. He'll just retake back, and he dominates the open file. So if you challenge it, watch takes. This is actually what was played, and then c takes. There's actually another line that it said potentially that would be playable is knight e7, knight h2 is in this clam because you're wanting to enter in like that. You're eyeing the f6 square, and then if he takes now at this moment, the bishop takes, and now you're clamping again down, depriving space of black. And if d5 comes down the pike, you go g4, and you now keep a solidity of the structure on e3 and e5. This bishop is attacking the knight. Potentially you can keep everything solid after you remove this this rook. This knight. You dominate this open file, so it's gonna happen. We're gonna crunch black. So he basically just seals his fate quicker with taking. So rook d1, because now we have a weakness, and we're eyeing the weakness, which is the knight. Bishop to 1 second. What did I miss? Oh, I'm sorry, I missed that. That's my fault there. It's not that. Hold on. Knight. Bishop. Sorry, bishop takes. That's what the move was. Then knight e7. Here we go. Okay. Now we got it. Now this is d7. Not d7. Queen d2. I was looking at it from white's black side. Now this is holding the position, the knight, and potentially somehow they're trying to, I don't know, this is such a hard position for black to hold. I don't know what black's gonna do. He's thrashing back and forth with his pieces, so it's gonna be interesting to see. They're saying that better might have been, let me see if bishop takes knight would possibly have been an interesting idea. And then takes, and then d5 to excuse me. Well, then d5 to block up the position. Rook c1, so that if bishop trades, you can jam a rook there. Let's see. Okay, bishop takes c, rook takes c. and knight d5, which he's clogging up everything. So this is the best actually for black. That's what they're trying to say, and then potentially maybe get a passer. And if takes here, you take there, and I'm not sure if we have enough counterplay for, because if he takes there, I think we're good enough in that line for white to be winning. Okay, dokie. Okay, where are we at now? C8. Okay, rook d1. We're eyeing the knight, and it really only has two spots to go to. Can't what? Where's rook d8? All right, here, rook d8. Where did I? Where am I? Can't he play? What move was that on? Trying to in the past. Oh, in the past line. Oh, at the very end. Okay. Hold on. Let me get back there. Let me see here. Hold on. Go to C. Queen C2. Hold on. Instead of. Okay, let's take a look at that. Oops, I don't want that. So it's kind of good we went over that. So bishop takes, gotcha. D5, rook C1. Hold on. Bishop takes, rook takes, and knight D5. Bishop G8. Hold on. I would be right there. Okay, let's keep. Oh, okay. You want to keep moving? Okay. Oh, it's fine. Okay, so you're thinking about after. Oh, C5 here. Oh, I get what you're saying here. Yeah, you could play there. I gotcha. I see what you mean. So probably queen. Get rid of that. Probably queen D5 would probably be the idea, or C5, C6, and yeah, I guess he is its problem here. Okay, yeah, we'll keep moving, like what you're saying. So that was an interesting line. He is in a problem at that point. He's in a pickle, as we would say. Okay, 28. Gotcha. Okay, C6. They're saying that that's a potential idea, but C6 cements the bishop, the knight. If you notice, guys, how cramped black is, he doesn't have much space to move his pieces. All of his pieces are cramped. This this bishop, is doing a wonderful job of confining these squares from black. And then this pawn at any time can go to e4 if the knight ever thinks of. We can actually retreat our bishop back first, by the way, after here, and then we would go e4. But because you don't want to give up your dark square, you want to keep the pieces on the board, but you want to clamp down on your opponent. You want to put him in a bind and squeeze until he breaks like a vice. You tighten the vice enough, and whatever's inside the vice will break, and that's our kind of goal. So G5 is played, and this gets an exclam because, in my opinion, I think it's an excellent move too. The knight now is potentially getting ready to either take here, take there. Oops, that's not what I want. That's not the move. So it's also preparing to push e4, f4, and maybe I think that's the idea in my opinion, because then if bishop takes check, and you have three attackers, this one, and this one attacking, so you'll be up 2 pawns and you'll have your piece back too. So it's like interest. You'll have 2 pawns in interest. You gotta love that. So kind of black's like stuck and he has to clog the position up. This is a really interesting move that he wants to play. Knight to e4 was played, but they did say that there is potentially a he wants to refrain from playing e4 because he wants the knight to have the accessibility of 2 points, d6 and f6. That's why I know you're thinking, why don't you just push? Because can't he just take, and then don't you, this is given up. So it's kind of one of those things. It's a trade-off. You give a little to get a lot. Let's see here. What am I missing? Okay. Okay, rook b8. Let's see. So if I played knight, if he played instead of rook b8, it's saying if he played knight c3, we would at this point. Hold on, let me go back. What am I missing? Oh, okay, I gotcha. Here, if knight c3, then you could play here at that point. If you could do that, that's what they're saying. That is a potential idea. Is then knight takes. This is a mistake. G5. Now you're threatening to check here with a potential mate to boot to follow. And if he moves his knight back, bishop comes smashing in with a check. King h8, and then e6 with an excellent game coming down, because now you're threatening, if this knight moves, you're threatening checkmate, so the knight can't move. You would be getting a piece back. So let me see, what could he play? Maybe queen here might be an idea. I don't know. I think I would just go boom like that. But then takes. Maybe I'm missing a little. That'd be check. Then the bishop goes there. I think that would be playable. So maybe something similar to that. And then you take there and. I don't know. I kind of like a potential threat there. So if he tries taking here, you then can actually win. Wow, there is so much play on that. I think I'll just leave this line too here for you guys. That's such a nice line setup. I'm gonna get rid of that though. I'll leave that so that you guys can go over it later. Okay, b8, knight d. It's fun to go over these in these books when they actually give you lines and they explain to you kind of with a couple sentences what it's about. It's really fun. Then you kind of know what the move sequences are about. That's nice when books do that. Okay, now we're attacking the queen, and we're attacking the pawn here. So it's like, wow, f8. Now you're attacking the knight, and this was actually what was played, which is an interesting move. It gets an interesting mark. But they said that there's also another line that's a little more questionable. And then trying to get into the open, and then rook d3 with a potential there. Knight b6 going after the bishop. They're trying to tie up white, because oops, that's not what I want. If this is played, potentially he has that, and so they're either thinking that this might sorry, I mean after knight takes here, this kind of keeps equality, as that's what he said in the book, keeps equality. This is more of a forcing line, kind of putting the question to white, what you gonna do? So that's an interesting line. Let's see, a rook e, okay. Where did I go? A1. Sorry. Hold on, what did I do? There. Gotta make sure I'm doing this right. Okay, rook e1. Because it attacks the rook too. Sorry, I forgot about that. There's a8. Queen e. And rook a2. Kind of something like that. King h2. And queen e7. Queen g3. And b6. Bishop g5. And then back. h4 with an exclam mark, because he wants to send the bishop in here. It's not yeah, it does have an exclam. That's wow, it does have an exclam. So I did say it right. I got it right. So that the queen would have to move to somewhere over here. Then you bring the queen in here. So pretty coming not fun. So rook e3. White, this one says white missed the opportunity for rook a1 with actually a double exclam. This, I know you guys see what it does. It deflects the rook away. Because if takes here, then this will actually come to pass with mate. So what would actually have to happen at this point is the queen would have to give its life up for the bishop. So in that line, what he said would happen is d7 would be played. Rook d7. a6 to attack, actually a skewer. Knight takes bishop. Rook takes c. Knight takes d6. And in this, black has the really interesting line, bishop, later on bishop here with and then if that takes, then you could actually take here, and the rook has to move. If it moves there, then you can actually cement, and next would be a rook comes in and a queen comes in. So but that's what was missed, was this here. Still okay, they said, but not the double exclam that would have been such a very nice move. So rook takes, knight takes, d7 here to kind of see if he can't take control. d6, put the knight back where it belongs. b5 with an exclam mark. This is that. It says that's a really good defense. Really strong defense. So knight takes b, bishop takes b, and rook to e1. He has to control this here. C4, b takes c4, and then bishop takes c4, and g, bishop g, queen g3. Boy, this is getting down to it. It's very hard to assess actually who's ahead and who's not, because white's got a lot of play on the king side, but black does have this passed pawn, so I'm not really sure who's better here. So it's pretty intense, let's just say. So d3 would be played, rook d3, that's what was played, and there. It's virtually a draw in this line, close to a draw here. What happens is black doesn't want to go for the draw, so he plays an interesting move, which kind of puts the question to white, what do you want to do? There is a potential, they said this is a line that may end up in a draw here. And then b3, queen b6, and b4, kind of because it's I in here for mate, and then c8. This would basically be a draw, close to a draw, because there's no real way of making progress for either side, because the queen has to stay here to guard this. The bishop has to stay here to guard this. So more likely the grandmasters at this point would agree to a draw, because there's no way of making any more progress. So that would be been a draw line, but black wanted to go for the win, because in their mind, the black side says, I have a passer. I want to try to win. I don't want to go for a draw. So that's why black plays d4. Let's see, what did we play? Okay, we played an interesting exclam move, which takes advantage of again, remember, this is a sensitive spot right here. E7 is a sensitive spot to the queen. So black has to constantly keep that in mind. Now this was the first mistake of many mistakes that black went down right here. So we did a mistake as well. Our side did a mistake with f4. He should have. The miss was actually this move here with the exclam. This is actually winning, because there's really no way to meet now queen to f6. This is actually a win. There's really no way to do it. I don't see really any way. Let me see here. Well, maybe takes there after checks. I'm sorry, I should refrain. There, and now there's no way to handle, because now you're going to have to play queen there, and it's going to be intense. I'm not sure if it's better for which side's better in this line, because you could try that, but then takes, and I don't know. Yeah, we'll do that in just a sec. We're almost done. We'll get this taken care of. Then we'll go over the Leela game. So f4 was a mistake. D7 to hold it. Yeah. Yeah, you know what? It is interesting when you when sometimes you think it's going to be a draw, and all of a sudden it turns out to be a win. And then bishop takes b3 for pawn push. And again, this right here sets up for, you can even queen, but it's too late. And so e8 would have to be played for to hold the position, and then d6, which, let me see, d6, I gotta take a look. Well, I guess that, let me see, what did I miss here? Am I missing something? d6, oh sorry, d6, there we go, b, and then queen to f6. This is another exclam, and there's really no way black may have an extra queen, but white delivers mate. That's what would happen. You could have an extra queen, but mate is what matters. You could have two queens, but if mate's on the board, sorry. Let me see here. Rook takes. Okay, bishop e7. Rook takes e7. Queen takes e7. And takes. And white doesn't. This is it. Just there's no real way. We'll go through here. We'll just go through it efficiently now. Rook e1 to stop this. b3. Rook c1 to attack the bishop. We're trying to get behind the passed pawn so that potentially we can make a route like that. Bishop d3. What the heck? No, d3, not d5. Sorry, that was a mouse slip on my part. c8 check. Only move king e7, and then we get in right behind it, and we're good to go. Now there's c2 is forced, bishop c2, king g3, because now we have entry points for white to get into. It's going to be it's almost over, because black's going to be falling pretty soon. H. Okay, you're doing something called triangulation. This is an exclam, so I have to put an exclam mark. Let's see here. Okay, rook c7, because black's trying his darndest to actually get in here and guard this so that he can get this pawn moving before white comes in and gobbles everything up. That's the whole idea, is black thinks that he can get there in time. Queen b4. And white's doesn't have any problem sacrificing his rook for this pawn. If he can gobble all these pawns up, he's more than happy to sack it for that, because that's what mate is based on. c6. Let's see, do c6. Hold on, what did I miss here? b4. Not c6. What? Okay, hold on. C6. Oh, c6. Not. Okay. Hold on. What did I? Okay, hold on. Let's see. Hold on. So c7 was. That's right. It's not c6. That's my problem. It was c7. That's why he goes here. c6. King g5. In comes the king. c7. In comes the king. Actually, sorry, not in comes the king. The rook retreats back. My bad. Then c4, f6, bishop takes pawn, king takes, and then we have f to hold on to that pawn. King g7 to grab this one and to make a passer. C3, king C3, G4, sweet move. That gets an exclam, and it says and it gets an exclam too. I like that move. D3, and then G5. This locks everything down now. B2, king takes H, pawn turns into queen, then rook takes willingly, bishop takes, king G7, let's see, D4, H7, E4, sorry, E3, I believe, yeah, E3, queen, F5, and queen to H2, and he resigned here. This was a resignation. We are going to, this is just a quick summary, the wrap up. On move 11, back here, move 11, the choice of knight to F3 really solidified the whole structure. That's what they were saying. And rather than playing F4 like what we were talking about, knight F3 allowed for more flexibility and limited black for the entire game. This move right here was the limiting factor for black. Okay, and now we're going to go over the Leela game, and we'll pick up with game 5 tomorrow. We'll do a couple puzzles as well after we go over Leela's game. I'm going to go over it pretty efficiently. I'm not going to narrate it as much because I want to do a couple puzzles with you guys. We're just going to take a look at it. Let's go interesting line. Pretty solid so far. Very solid. Nice. I like that knight move. Very interesting play for sure. Takes. Okay, so Leela provoked a slight weakness here. So, and the two bishops versus the two knights. So the imbalance for black or Stockfish would be that it wants to keep the position closed and Leela wants to open the position. So that's kind of why black's got to be careful with the pawn moves. Okay, so far so good. C4. Well, this looks very drawish to me. Bug. 5. D5. Where's D5? Let me see. Oh, D5 back here. Well, in theory, you're right, but remember, computers look at majorities. Black has a majority on the queen side, so that's what it judges, that its majority is much better than actually what it. Oops, I should go back and start from there. Sorry, guys. We'll just come back here and just start here, because otherwise that's jumping ahead too much. It's trying to play for a majority pawn storm. A4. Oh wow, I can't believe Stockfish allowed that to actually come to pass though. That binds whatever a majority it had. Okay, so far so good. Very drawish. Really no progress that potentially could be made. Okay, it's playing. Alright, so far so good. Okay. Wow, that was an interesting move. Ooh, that was a blunder. Why didn't it grab that pawn? This pawn grab would have given it a let's see, what would it, I think it would have given it like maybe a 0.3 advantage for black. Oh, equality. So it blundered there. This was the losing move, E4. Man, it blundered again. This cements everything, so it's a draw here. Wow. 2 mistakes. Oh, it does? Huh. Surprisingly. Okay. Now white's so much better here. I like the idea. I figure, you know what, even if it says I'm down material, having the ability to be 1 pawn up does make a difference in the end. Yeah. But if you think about it, it's Stockfish 8, not Stockfish 9. So Stockfish 9, I don't know how it probably would have seen all those issues. Okay. Wow. That was a mega blunder. Snap. It lost on. That's the losing move right there. Another losing move. That's true. Yeah, I guess you're right. It's doing the best that it can. Gotta say, that's brutal. Lola is Leela is very brutal, man. Just get rid of that. Yeah. You know what? Crunch. Feel the crunch. Boom. And then see you later. Yeah. So, which move line did you want to go down the that you were talking about? Can we look at the at line 5 moves down? Which one? What number would that be on? What am I missing here? Oh. Oh, gotcha. I gotcha. Hold on, let me I just want to get to that. I'll just get to that point really efficiently. Boom, boom, boom. Okay. Okay. Here we go. Gotcha. We'll put on, we'll just do 3 lines. It likes that line there so that when, okay, gotta wait. And then we'll do this for like maybe like 4 or 5 minutes, and then we'll get into some puzzles because we got the puzzled up. Okay, then you take here. Then if you play A takes B, knight there, rook F5. So it's a draw at this point. There's one move that's really bad, and I don't think it'd be knight to C5 was actually a losing move, but who would play C5? That's like a silly move. That just gambits a pawn away, so I wouldn't do that. D5. So equal. It says that it likes the E5 is actually its best move, but it says that rook D2 is actually best. But then it says E5 is best. That must be a miscalculation on Stockfish 8's thing. This is actually a draw here. And then if it plays there, you just go back and forth. That's the perpetual. But and now it's actually better for black. Okay, we'll hop into some puzzles. There we go. All right, I'll be right back. Alrighty. We found a cool idea, so let's take a look. Let's see. Let's see. Okay, bishop takes. Move this over here. Bishop takes. If queen takes, then we win. So bishop takes. It is interesting. So if we played bishop takes here, rook d7. We can actually then play bishop takes rook. Rook takes queen. And bishop takes rook. I think we're up material at that point. Yeah, I like that idea. Let me see. What I was thinking about is if he plays here, we would just take there. Oops. Yeah, that wouldn't work, so I was hoping that. Okay. Okay, I see what you're saying. Wow. Yeah, that does work. That line does work. Your line's right. Good job, guys. Good job. Yeah. Like what you're saying, if here, if rook G, first of all, you would, you take here for check, you take there, you would play rook takes rook, rook takes rook, rook takes rook, and now you're up a whole queen. At that point, you're up a whole queen. Good job. Good find, guys. We'll do like, no, it worked. The other one worked. Yeah, exactly. So that's one thing that we have to keep in mind. Yeah, we have to always look for those subtle nuances. Okay, so I could do like, I think 2 to 3 more puzzles. I'll see what time, how long they take me. I'll take us, actually, sorry. My mind was in the zone of chess. Queen looks kind of trapped, yeah. So let's see how we can tighten the net on the queen. How can we tighten the net? We could play rook. Ah, nice. Nice. Rook d3 is, I think that's the end of the mighty queen. Yeah, she's gone at that point. What do you think, Fox? Rook b3? What do you think, though? I think, oh, not b3, sorry. That was funny. I did B3 instead of D3. Oh, that is funny. What do you think? Are we all on board for Rook D3? What I was looking at is if he plays this here, which is silly. We'll just snap that off. He snaps here, and then we just grab that. And we'd be up, even after this, that kind of what I was seeing is we'd be up material. So I could do this one and then another one that I gotta log off. So I was able to do, I will be able to do two more. This one and then another, then I'm done. Then I'm done. Yay! I thought it would take us longer to find the puzzles. I get to do one more than I thought I could have done. Let's see here. That's okay. Hey, we'll take it. It's 1 point. Let's see here. We have a fork. Oh. No, the problem with that is well, maybe it's that then. Let's see. Because I think the queen has this square to go to. If it goes like that, this queen could slide over. Oh, true. I see what you're saying, yeah. That makes sense. Yeah, yep. That is right, yep. Yeah, because if you try this, you lose on the spot. Alright, nice, okay. Wow, we're really going fast here. True. Sorry about if I drank in your guys' ears. My throat was just a little dry. See, we have to take the bishop. You usually take towards. Does one thing though. The only problem is it opens this up. Let's see. Okay, if we take here. Okay, so F takes G3. So the pawn push happens. E3. F takes E3. We could play knight to A7. Check, and then if king moves, the king moves, then we could play rook takes, not rook takes. see. I'm trying to visualize. Let's see if we take with F takes G3, E3 for black. We do have knight. I think it's E5 attacks the queen and the bishop. That's what it is. That's it. Okay, let's see. Let's take a look at that real quick. Here, rook takes, F takes, bishop E, queen here. Oh, that could be taken. Snap. That's okay. That's alright. Well, we'll get that back tomorrow. Don't worry. Don't worry. Yeah. Do you guys have any other questions about this before I log off? Okay. And then cut the king off. It's a draw. It ended up becoming a draw. But the other way is a win. It's a win at that point. Do you guys have any other questions? Any other lines you want to go over? You got any other lines? Do you have any other lines before? I'll give you guys a little bit more time to check if you guys were thinking about anything. Well, I guess I don't see any other lines, so I will log off for tonight. Well, guys, what we have to do is we have to always remember, you're never going to always get everything right, but you can learn from it. That's the whole point. Learn from it. Get better. We've learned a lot from the London system. We've went over a whole bunch of lines, and you know what? It's all about getting better. That's the hardest part. A lot of work. I appreciate that you guys stuck with me through this because it is a lot of work, but trust me, in the end, when you sit down and play, it'll be worth it. All the days that are coal will end up becoming diamonds when you're sitting at the board and you play that checkmate move. That'll be so sweet. And remember, keep moving forward. Don't let things get you down. You know what? It's good for life's lessons, good for everything that ails you, basically. Just remember, don't let things get you down. Don't let things get you upset because there's no reason for it. Always use the mind the Lord's given you, too. I'll check one more time to make sure that nobody wrote any lines in. You Do you have anything? Okay, good. Why doesn't H? Let's see here. Hold on. So there was a line that came in. H takes E, and Rook takes. Oh, reason that doesn't work is because Queen takes with check. So Queen check is the reason it doesn't work. The Queen is no longer part of. I mean, the rooks are no longer connected, which means the Queen can win. Then we would have to actually come up here, and we have lost all of our initiative. Do you have? Did I answer your guys' question? Did I go over everybody's questions? Because, okay. Alright. Then, with that, I will see one more time just to make sure. Alright. That's the reason that doesn't work, is it loses connection with the rooks, and you'd lose, the Queen would take it with check. Remember, good plan is a plan that you have to think three moves in the future, or as the Grandmasters say, one move, and it's always the right move. That's what Bobby said. So let me just check one more time nope, okay, everybody's good. And that's the whole entire wrap up, guys. is we got to use the mind Lord's given us. And so with that, I'll leave you with this. As Wesley So says, through the Lord Jesus, I say God bless, and I'll see you next time on Chess Cruncher TV. Have a blessed morning, afternoon, and evening, and be blessed. And I'll be back on Lord willing tomorrow. Also, if you guys want to watch, there's Your Next Move is going to be played tomorrow as well. So that's on as well. Your Next Move. So be great. Have a great thing. Study good, guys, and have fun. Then I'll be back on tomorrow. Be blessed. Bye bye, guys.